bye-bye. We're going to open up with the Moorish American prayer. And anyone that doesn't want to partake of the prayer may seek the silent benediction. So we usually rise and we face the east. We have 5 on the left and 2 on the right. And you will repeat after me. Allah.
Allah,
the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. You can face this way in the man standing for just a moment. We're going to read the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Sister Tameaka Grayle, go ahead and begin reading that. Islam.
Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. The organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must now proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwest and southwest shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American Prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, U.S.A. Islam.
Islam. So the sister has read for you the law, and the meeting is officially open. The prophet said we are to open promptly, according to the Circle 7. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam. Well, this is to be read at every meeting. I'm going to read this letter really quick. It says, the prophet warns all Muslims. It's to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button and cease wearing their turban and fez and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, noble Jew Ali. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, noble Jew Ali. So that was a message from your prophet in those times of some things that were going on that he wanted immediately to correct. Islam.
Islam that continue to go on today. That still need to be corrected.
Things that need to be corrected. So we welcome you all into the Moorish Science Temple of America, Subordinate Temple number 12. All right. Islam. So with it being going into a holy season, and all over the internet and people and friends, and they're in an uproar right now. Islam more. I mean, an uproar, and the problem is dealing with religious controversies. Of what's right and what's wrong and what needs to be going on and whatever else. And as told to us by our prophet, he said he was a universal prophet and his message was universal. And his universal message was love. So we as Moorish Americans practice nothing other than love. That's the only thing that should be talked about, the only thing that we should be dealing with. So with that in mind, today, for those of you that have the Quran with you, we're in, what is it, chapter 35? Holy instructions from the Prophet on religion. That'll be on page 42. Okay? Islam.
Does anybody need one? I can share. I'm good.
So also with the Quran today, we have the Quran questionnaire for the Moorish Americans. All right? Call this the 101s as well. It has the questions and answers in here as well. Some of this is going to incorporate right here into your Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So you may have to flip back and forth, but we're going to give you the questions and answers. It's going to be simple. We won't hurt you too much with this information. Let's see, did you want to begin to read a little bit? Or
You got this right now.
Okay, holy instruction for the prophet on religion. Well, this is going to clear up some things that are going on. It says, there is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. It says, the sun is not Allah, though his noblest image. He enlightened the world with his brightness. His warmth giveth life to the products of the earth. Admire him as the creature and the instrument of Allah, but worship him not. So when you take on that message, and we talk about the sun, he said, while the sun is a noble creation that we see, that is just a part of Allah. That's not Allah. So they're warning you to not worship that. So many times we get trapped in the things of the world and the things of the flesh, and we want those things. And we say, well, that looks great, but it looks to the eye and it's appealing. So that makes us want it. It causes wantingness. We want those things. He says, while the sun is the noblest thing, that is still just a portion. All right? But it says here, it says, there is but one Allah. Now, we've studied, people have been in all different places, different religions, church, all these things. It says, there is but one Allah. All right? This is the foundation for religion. This is the foundation for Islamism. This should be your foundation. There is but one. We talked about, we've seen many nations have fallen because they worshiped everything was a god. This was a god, that's a god, you a god, she's a god, he's a god. All right?
Those 26s are gods. I couldn't help myself.
26 are god.
26 is always coming up.
Listen.
42.
42. He said, but all those things, so they went and worshiped all these things. That those are God. While those are attributes, those aren't God. All right? There is but one.
Islam, I just want to point out that when we think about worshiping, a lot of times when you're in a temple or church environment or something like that, you're thinking about worshiping as in either standing facing the east, getting on your knees, doing whatever it is that you do. But when we're talking about worshiping in this sense, because you want something so bad, because you want this house, you want this car, you covet the sun, you want to go on these vacations so bad that we allow them sometimes, or you want that person to take place of where we should be realizing that although Allah created all of these things are not Allah.
I couldn't say it any better myself. And we know that this book also has spiritual meaning to it as well. So there's a lot of other meaning in there with this. So when he says the Son is not Allah, though his noblest image. What's there's another shot in here? There's something else in here. Anybody catch that little bit from there?
Word Son.
This word Son. Somebody give me something on that. Give me a measure on that. This is more science. We deal with the science of things. But we have the word Son in here. What's the word Son? Anybody know another definition for the word Son? Out there, we know that Son. Son.
The only thing I can think of is in contrast to the Christian context is that if you see me, if you see the Son, you see the Father, and you're talking about that same.
There it is, the Son. So that's a noble image, right? It's a part of me.
It's not me.
But it's not me. He said, I am the one and incomprehensible. It said right here. So sometimes we play with things and twist these to fit into an area where we want it to be. That's not what it said. It said there's one Allah, all incomprehensible. Everything is the whole. The whole is everything. All right. So I want to make sure that you get this. It says, he enlightens the world with his brightness. His warmth giveth life to the products of the earth. Admire him as the creature, the instrument of Allah, but worship him not. To the one who is supreme, most wise and beneficent, to him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. It says to the one that created all these things, you give adoration and things to the master creator. Anything else is out of order. You know? It violates the divine order of things. So we know, I don't care what school of thought you were in, it said everyone fell because they honored not the principles of their mothers and their fathers. All right? And it says there is but one Allah, which means Allah is the head father, the supreme father, if you will. That's what it says here, supreme. So supreme is above all else. So yeah, you have to honor your mothers and your fathers. Those are those that are here on earth. But we also have to give honor to the head father, the foundation, the master creator, the master builder. All right, if we don't do those things, we're in no better shape than the rest of the groups that we know fell. From any structure, any book, anything you read, we know what their plight was. They fell. Why? They honored not the principles of their mothers and their fathers. So what does that tell you that you must do? Honor the principles of your mother and your father. But if you want to take a chance to see if you're going to be that one that's going to somehow be saved, and nobody's been saved, Go through all the books. Well, maybe they almost made it. They didn't quite make it. They were cooked. No, they didn't make it. They tried to build a tower up to the Most High. They didn't belong there. So they was knocked down.
Islam, this makes me think about when we talk about books, you can look in books. And a lot of times, again, the context of the setting, we are the Moorish Science Temple of America. We talk about science, and we're talking about the geology, geography, all those things. So a lot of times, if you think back to when you were in school and you were in the history books, the world history or whatever it was, there were always these battles. There have always been ongoing battles, ongoing fights. And if you get to the bottom of a lot of those, it was religious controversy. I want you to be like I want you to be, and if you are not willing to do that, then off with your head, literally.
That's a good point. So there is but one Allah, okay? The Supreme. And then you have your one-on-ones. So we're supposed to teach this class and confirm ourselves with the one-on-ones. This has the questions and the answers. All right? It says the Quran questions for Moorish children on one. It says, who made you? Allah. Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Allah is the Father of the universe. So we say that in the prayer. Okay? Can we see him?
No.
No. Where's the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
In the heart. So when we talk about in the heart, in Eastern philosophy, the heart is right here. It's in the mind. All right? So when we say get to the heart of the matter, mind your manners, all those things that I deal with this. All right? So man is the supreme being, and we'll get into that here, because he was given something that no other being was given from the Most High. All right? So there's a lesson in here where it talks about the crocodile's spine is erect like a human, like ours, but he wasn't given the seed that we were given. All right? So if you read some of the older stories, it talked about the body laid on the ground for ages, and the angels walked around the body and said, they were asking Allah, what was he going to do with that body? And he said, I'm about to breathe life into that body. And the angels challenged him and said, no, that was created of the worst stuff known to man, that you know what it's going to do. But Allah's response was, I know what you don't know. So he planted something in man that they didn't know. But they was trying to challenge him on that. Okay? It says, who is Noble Drew Ali? That's at number 5.
He is Allah's prophet.
He is Allah's prophet. So Allah brought a prophet. So up from the people came a man that was given something by Allah to save the nation. Okay? What is a prophet?
A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh.
Okay, so a thought of Allah. So this is where we get to the reasoning. Okay? So man has a thought of his own. But man is supposed to keep those thoughts within the bounds of righteousness. But so Allah's thought, as soon as he had it, he brought it to fruition. Boom. Let there be. Boom. And there it is. All right? So that's why we give praise to Allah. It says, what is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
To save the nations from the wrath of Allah. Okay? So Noble Drew Ali came to bring you the message that you're headed down this road that everybody else has gone down, and it ends right here at nothingness. Now, if you like, you may continue on down that road. However, I've written you this prescription. Take it daily. It'll cure what causes you your issues in your mind. And get yourself right, and you'll be okay. Sometimes it takes us a while to get to that level. We have to be beaten down and stomped so far till we say we're going the wrong way.
Somebody once said, those who do not pay attention to history and learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So when you think about what this actually says, okay, we're given something. So we decide whether or not we want to keep going through that same thing over and over again in our lives, in our journey here on earth, in our workplaces, everywhere. We decide whether or not we want to keep going through those same things over and over again. Somebody else said the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And we don't have to, because it's all right here.
Islam. So in modern 2017 language, we call that recreating the wheel. All right? So how many times, well, we could just do it just like this and sprinkle this on that, and that's okay. And somebody will buy it. Yeah, but if it's wrong, we know it's wrong, we shouldn't be doing it, right? Because you're casting somebody into sin. So when you cast them into something, and out of your thought, in your mind, you knew that that was wrong, all right? That puts you at a higher, a supreme level of ignorance when you cast them into something like that. And you know what the result's going to be. Do we have people that do that to other people? Sure, sure. They'll be punished for their unjust deeds. When the thought comes in your mind, I can do this, and this is just going to get me over just for that one moment. But it's going to put you in a situation. Oh, that's not the way we're supposed to think. We're supposed to uplift. All right? Somebody's in adversity. They say, forsake them not. You got to lift them up. I know if you do this, this is going to cause that. Don't do it. If they go about and do it, tell them again, hey, I really wouldn't do it. Then they do it. Then the next time, they'll be more apt to listen. All right? Hey, don't touch that. That's hot. Don't do this. We do that with children. Why is it we don't do it with adults?
Why don't we do it with self?
Do it with yourself.
How many times have you, because I know I routinely do this, started out with a thought. And you're like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to let this bother me. Okay, it's going to bother me a little bit. Okay, maybe I should handle it like this and push it back here and not worry about it. Okay, I'm worried about it. Okay, I'm approaching it. Okay, I'm all up in somebody's face because now I'm angry, even though I know that I shouldn't put myself or that other person in that situation. And most of us do it at least once a week. And we have to become cognizant of those things, you know, as we, and we also have to be able to give ourselves some leniency where we don't expect it to be, okay, I woke up today and I'm on top of the world. I got this. I have it perfectly, because then we set ourselves up for failure. Because that moment that we, as they say in some places, backslide, which truly isn't what it is, because we weren't at that time where we pretended we were in the first place. Then, oh, this ain't working. I need to go back all over again to that thing that I know never works, because I got to start all over.
Okay. So
then it makes sense to follow the first intuition, because you missed a whole lot of warnings and messages between up in their face and you know, the first thought.
Absolutely.
And then if you have aught against your brother, you go then. You don't wait till it feels and you in somebody's face.
You know, the anger that is the one that's right here. Because if you're using this heart, you're not using this heart. And this heart is generally the one that spoke first. Just choose to ignore it. You know, that little voice that don't nobody hear but you. And that little voice is that voice of wisdom and intuition that's saying to you, you really should handle it this way. I don't care if I should handle it this way, because right here, my feelings are hurt. Right here, I'm angry. Right here, my heart is on my sleeve. But I'm not correct. And we're supposed to be upright, erect, and correct. Is that?
So you see those cartoons, they got the devil and the angel, and they always having that debate. That deals with your internal debate that you always having with yourself. So unity, when we talk about unity and all these things, that's to be unified in yourself. That your thoughts are correct, that you know what things make you tick, and you know what things are going to send you down the wrong path. All right? Psychology, and then and some of they call those triggers. This is going to be that trigger. Okay, I know when he said this, I'm going to do this, but this is going to result in that.
Then you already know you shouldn't do it, because you already know what the outcome is.
Right, right. Why? Because past experience is the best way to tell you what's going to happen with a future experience, right? I know my neighbor, this is going to make him boil. Wow, I'm about to go tell him this, right? And guess what? Because you're a master creator, you know exactly what the result is going to be. He's going to come out the house and slam the door and say this.
The parking spot, I could park in my driveway, but because my neighbor had company because they was watching that game last week, they parked in front of my driveway. So you know what? I'm just going to park in front of his instead of pulling in my driveway, because I know that's going to make him mad, but then he'll understand how I felt. Okay. Daddy, exactly.
Right. So the thought alone was the sin or evil of the action. The thought alone, that this is going to put somebody in a subordinate standpoint in their life. All right. So think about, they have something. How many times do we push somebody on the brink? You don't know whether they're right here with their life, whether they know God, they don't know God, and you jab at them, jab at them, jab, and then you're the last one. And the last thing you remember is, oh, I messed with him on this day and he gone. Well, what happened? Now you don't know in your heart was the thing that you did, the last chance that you had could have been the last chance to save them. All right? We gotta always think about that. We have to be mindful, be respectful.
The prophet said, if I can only make you think.
Honorable. We gotta be honorable in our dealings. Right? If what I'm gonna do isn't honorable, I gotta step back from it. I tell any more I talk to on the phone. If anybody come at you from different religions, different areas, whatever, give them a message of love. If they say they can't get there with love, leave them alone. We preach a message of love. Hey, well, I want to talk to you about the section of love. They say, I don't really want to deal with that. Okay, cool. That's where you stand. So we know that's not right. Because that's not the message the prophet gave us. He said love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. He gave you 5 principles. All right? Love, truth, peace, freedom. So when those principles aren't met, then injustice must then take its course. All right? So on, back to the one-on-ones for just a moment. It says, skip down to 11. It says, where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
It says, what is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we're descendants of Moroccans and born in America.
Okay. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of fallen humanity.
Okay, for the uplifting of fallen humanity. So that's what our job is. So you put that on the front of the one-on-ones, uplifting fallen humanity. You see the prophet came out of the water, he's holding in his arms the woman. Written across her womb is humanity. All right? Our job is to uplift fallen humanity. So for some of us, that's a hard concept. But we have to uplift the sisters so when the children come from the offspring of the womb, they're correct. You ever have discussions with people and friends that you say, that's crazy? How do we have discussions with people about things that you teaching your child that we know are ridiculous? All right? I was 20 years old. My friend, dad says, come on in the house. I got to tell you something about your crazy friend. Okay. He sits down and he says, hey, what? Your boy got trouble shoplifting. Okay. That's ridiculous. I said, yes, it is. He goes, we always sell weed. What?
Okay, because that's better.
What?
That's better.
So he's teaching the son incorrectly. All right? And the thought in his mind, he should be doing something bigger incorrectly. All right? It doesn't make a difference. It's all incorrect. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. So when we do those things, we got to give them the truth. The truth's going to hurt. It's painful. Nobody likes to taste the truth. All right? But it's the only thing that can save you. I guess it's not just a little bit of falsehood. It's either all falsehood all the way through.
There is no such thing as a little white lie.
Little white lie.
It either is or it isn't. And it's literally that simple. But because we have over years and years and decades and centuries decided and followed what we've been taught, okay, well, that wasn't exactly white. Then it wasn't white. That wasn't exactly, I wasn't exactly on time, but I wasn't 15 minutes late. No, you were late. And I use that as an example because that just goes to show the little loopholes that are put in there. If you have to be at work, your shift starts at 9, you're supposed to be there at 9. We got a 15-minute grace period. No, technically, you don't, even if they give it to you. So if we think that way, then we're putting that wrong thought process, that dishonorable thought process in our beings.
And then when you say the word white lie, if you go to the dictionary, white, that means pure and honest. So there
So
can't be an honest
pure
lie.
and honest lie.
A pure lie, it might be, so it's just pure lie. It's not a little bit, it's not a variation. Okay? So when we play with wordplay, we have to have a clear grasp on it. Number 16, it said, how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
Okay. It says, what is our religion?
Islamism.
Islamism. So now we're back over here in our chapter on religion. So our religion is Islamism. Is that a new religion or an old-time religion?
Old-time religion.
Old-time religion. Okay. So it says, who hath stretched forth the heavens with his hands, and who hath described with his fingers the course of the stars? All right. Who setteth the bounds to the ocean, that it cannot pass, and saith unto the stormy winds, be still. We've heard that all over. Peace, be still, right? Okay. Who shaketh the earth, and the nations tremble? Who dareth his lightnings, and the wicked are dismayed? It's funny that not just children are scared about lightning. All right? Not just adults that are scared of lightning and bad weather. Now here, in this area, it's snowing and snowfall. In California, they can't get any water. The whole place is burning down. All right? So we got two extremes going on in two different areas. All right? People being taught to repent. Praise Allah. Quit doing the things they're doing that are ungodly. So we on two separate spectrums of the globe with two separate things going on. And man can create all kinds of things, and we can't get enough water over there to put out the fire. All right? Look like we should have every tanker, every truck, every thing. You know, they have boats that can shoot guns and shoot a laser out the window. I mean, come on. Come on. We got to put this fire out. All right?
But yet it's been burning.
But it's been burning.
And burning for a really long time. Now, I don't know if people have noticed it or not. It's been burning longer this year than it has in years past. And when one went out, another one started.
That's a metaphor for our lives. Put one fire out and 4 more start up. That's things we have to look at. We have to be careful with our tongues of what fires we start. Make sure we try to be peacemakers and keep things. We know people aren't in their right minds. See all the mass shooting. It's not an accident. They sit there and watch TV. They watch YouTube. They're on the internet. They play these killing video games. They go to work. Something sets them off. You know, you hide your coffee cup. You do this person does this. That person does this. And they say, this is going to set them off. That's what you watch when you see Jerry Springer and Dr. Phil. That one thing that's going to set this person off. But here's the thing. They do those things, and then somebody's going to make some money off of this. So is there really a benefit to stop them from doing that? There should be. There should be. We should stop watching that stuff. If that was really what we were about, but we putting money into it, so somebody say, I can set this person off, and they're going to love it. YouTube fights, and you've seen all of it, bum fights, all these things, and we're attacking people. And then we say, oh, the community's in a mess. You did it. You did it. How did it get that way? You did it. Because when instead of you filming it, put down the camera and go walk over and say, hey, knock it off. Right? Do we do that? Got 10 people with you. We got 10 different angles. I got it from the top. I was watching it from the side. I was over, put the camera down, I'm going to tell you to stop. I had thought about that. You didn't. You would have went and done it.
I did think about it. I did. I tell you. I just thought about it.
I thought about it when I said it to my cousin,
yes.
Jermaine, what he going to say about it when he see it. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's dysfunctional. That's dysfunctional. But see, as us talking about it, we look around, we say, wow, that's crazy.
But how many of us actually can think of times when we do or have done it? Makes me think about, as you mentioned, tongues, you know.
Oh.
So in the prophet's literature, he says it's in 23, one of the most difficult things in this world to get control of is the human tongue. Kipling never wrote anything more true than when he wrote that man may hold most any post if he'll only hold his tongue. Before you set your tongue in action, get it under control. A single tongue can do more harm in the world than a battalion of soldiers, for soldiers can kill bodies while the tongue can kill reputations and characters. Really, it is too bad that we have no laws to curb tongues from lying and scandalizing. No doubt you all have read the story of Lago, a character in one of Shakespeare's plays, when he powerfully pictured in the character of Lago the terrible consequences following the path of an evil tongue. Lago not only destroyed the reputation and pure character of Desdemona, but he finally, through Othello, killed her body. That's why I say, compel your tongue to speak helpful messages or else keep it still. Make it a rule of your life to use your tongue for high purposes only. Resolve to speak of man or woman of no other way unless you speak of good qualities of that man or woman. No one ever gained happiness out of injuring the feelings or character of someone else. No one ever failed to get happiness by speaking well of other people. So learn as if you were to live forever. Live as if you were to die tomorrow.
There's some things in there too that were spiritual. When he talks about controlling the tongue, you do certain meditations, your tongue is on the roof of your mouth. And it makes your body vibrate at a different level. We won't go into that. It's high science. It's deep.
We talked about some of that last week. We did some little meditative exercises.
You can't, and the reason is when the tongue vibrates, you hear it in your ears. That's the reason why a lot of people talk and boisterous. They hear it in their own ear.
La 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 la. I'm not listening to Jasmine.
Right. So you had a tongue on the roof of your mouth, you vibrate at a different level. Islam. So it said, who calleth forth worlds by the words of his mouth, who smiteth with his arm, and they sink into nothing. O reverence the majesty of omnipotent, and tempt not his anger, lest thou be destroyed. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. So the providence of Allah is everything, all his works, everything he has created. Pretty simple concept, all right? So everything is within his bounds, everything is within his jurisdiction. All right? He hath instituted the laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature conformeth to his will. So he gave animals a different nature, all right? So according to what this animal was supposed to be doing in their purpose, so in our lessons it talks about all living things are bound by cords. That's the reason why man should not kill, all right? All living things are bound by cords. So every man live not unto himself, but he's corded to another living thing, all right? So we're supposed to honor our mothers and our fathers. Don't they call the earth Mother Earth? That's why you're not supposed to dump oil out there, antifreeze, and certain things. That is one of our greatest resources. And that sustains all of us. We pollute the air and do certain things and wonder why the people minds are off. All right, we put things in the water, we're doing these things and wonder why their mind is off. Well, his mind is off. But did you see what he was eating and drinking? What they're using. All right.
And then find ways to medicate it. So if I think about it from a medical scientific perspective, a lot of times people will suddenly be craving sweets. So serotonin has the same effect on the brain. Serotonin is a hormone, as sugar does on the brain. So if you are putting all of this sugar in your brain, then that means your own endogenous, meaning your own serotonin, isn't allowed to work the way that it actually should be working. But unless you're sitting someplace like here, you don't hear it, you don't know it, you don't realize it. And I know for women, they'll talk about, okay, it's that time, so I'm craving chocolate. So I eat all this chocolate because my hormones are off balance, but I'm gonna eat this chocolate instead of concentrating, meditating, and thinking into me and centering my vibrations so that I can control how my hormones are flowing.
How many times have we hear, oh, I'm feeling a little off today. Somebody's gonna feel it today. They're just gonna get it. That's you making a conscious effort that it's gonna be a problem, right? I'm just feeling froggy today. He's feeling froggy, he should jump. How many times do we hear that? We hear it all the time. So that's you making a conscious effort that there's gonna be a problem, and there should be a problem. And because you're a master creator, you're gonna create the problem, right?
And then figure out how you didn't create the problem.
Right.
So that's where the true definition of insanity comes in, because I thought this, I knew I woke up off, I knew I was gonna go ahead, say something to this person that was gonna make them act like this, but it's not my fault because all I did was say what I was thinking. They reacted to me.
Oh, he looked at me. Oh, he looked at me. Did he look at me? He looked at me. Oh, what did you do?
Saw him look at me. Why are you looking at me like that?
Right. So then that goes into those other areas, right? We all have those friends or that friend that no matter what I do, they're going to go along with me with whichever idea I have. So I go look to that person. I say, hey, he said something to me. You know what we got to do? Then you had that friend. I have another friend that if I go to him, he's going to say, no, we don't do that.
Well, I don't want to talk to him.
I'm not going to call him. I'm going to call this person that's going to give me the result of what I need. All right? I get phone calls all throughout the week. People call me and ask me, hey, I'm about to do this. You know you're not. You know you calling me because I'm supposed to get you off the fence. All right.
Well, I thought about not calling you. I was going to call somebody else.
So how do we, in our mind, when you're good with it, you know what the answer going to be. Well, so why do we change it from what it's supposed to be, right? That seed is in you. That seed is supposed to pull at you that Allah put in you that say, don't do that. How is it we got enough nuclear weapons to blow this thing up 50 times over and nobody's hitting us? Right? That seed is in there. They got enough, they said they got enough to do this and this and this and this and that, and they agitate each other and then they back and forth and then they both just go sit down. How does that happen? How does that happen? Because nobody really in their heart wants to be the one to shake the wrath of Allah. That better be what their answer is. That's what we hope their answer is. And I give honor to them if that's what their answer should be. And I'm putting the thought out there so they pick that up and say, hey, hopefully we're just not going to do that. Why? Just say in here. Don't tempt Allah with that. You're not supposed to do that. We hear at number 11, it says, in the depth of his mind. Whoa. In the depth of his mind. He revolveth all knowledge. The secrets of futurity lie open before him. The thoughts of thy heart are naked to his view. He knoweth thy determinations before they are made. All right. So we were taught in a lot of other studies that the sin was from the action. Boom, you did this, that's the action. No, it wasn't. The sin was in the thought. All right. So in the thought process for you to do something negative, I tell you right there, that was already wrong when you even thought about it. All right.
And then you knew it was wrong, but you did it anyway.
Okay. So you had a moment to correct that really quickly. All right. So that's why we protect our minds, we protect our thoughts, and protect the things that we see. So that when that jump across your mind, you're supposed to, whoop, dog. If I go over into that area, that's the area I shouldn't be.
But I need my cable with all 353 channels showing the same thing every day to help program my mind to have those thoughts. Don't I?
Yeah, you may. You may. That'll keep you from going to bother the neighbor across this thing and getting him out.
No, because you know what?
He only got 240
He only got less than I got. I want him to know.
Right. I'm going to let him know. I got
That's right.
The ESPN 2700 pack.
That's right. That's right. With the same things on all the channels.
So see, those are lower self things that we're bringing out, hate, slander, lewdness, all those things. It's coming forth with that. Okay? With respect to his prescience, there is nothing contingent. With respect to his providence, there is nothing accidental. So that means all things in life are created by Allah. All right? So people say, oh, it was a coincidence that we got in a 5-car pileup and we didn't die. No, that's not what happened. You're giving yourself more power than you have. It was not your time to go. All right? It wasn't time for you to change form. So there was a pre-science to that. So it wasn't contingent on anything else. You didn't do something good that day that gave you that reward or whatever else. All right? It's predetermined that you were not going to do that at that time. All right? I can tell you that from experience. I've almost drowned twice. All right? It was not my time to go. Can't fear death. Death is that time when that cord is cut and you sail on the smoothest seas and you go where you're supposed to go. Okay? Wonderful he is in all his ways. His counsels are inscrutable. The manner of his knowledge transcended thy conception. Pay therefore to him wisdom, all honor, and veneration, and bow down thyself in humble submissive obedience to his supreme discretion. What does that mean? To his supreme discretion. Don't challenge Allah's telling you to do something. That's what that means. He is the supreme being.
Sometimes we look for it to be something big, and it's something small. I know I've had this conversation with Brother Murray the third day a lot of times, and some other people too. At 3 o'clock, wake up. I'm woke. Okay, well, I'm just going to go back to sleep. You ain't going back to sleep. You need to get up. You need to pray. You need to meditate. You need to talk. There's something that you need to do that is divine in nature. Try not to do it and see how late you are then awake. Another, 2, 3, 4 hours. Fall asleep for 15 minutes. It's time to get up and go to work. And you're cranky. So I'm mad. So I'm going in causing all kinds of chaos because I had a rough night. But there was a way to handle that.
Mm. All honor and veneration, bow down to thyself in humble and submissive obedience to his supreme direction. Mm-hmm. So when you told to do something, and your father tell you. It should be just like that in your household when you were growing up. You know? The Father is gracious and beneficent. He hath created the world in mercy and love. I tell you, the world was created for different things. All these things. He said the world was created for mercy and love. That's the only reason we as these beings are in this world. And that's what we should be passing to other people. Message of mercy and the message of love. We talked about love quite a bit, and we want to make sure that that's at the forefront. That's what the world was created for. Mercy and love, not torment and disaster. See the video game God of War, that doesn't even go together. That's not what that was created for. Sorry. But we play with those things and we play with our mentality and wonder why we in a hole. Wonder why we behind. Wonder why we can't find our way. All right? The world was created in mercy and in love. Let's go to the one-on-ones and look at question 66. First question says, how many selves are there?
2.
Selves. Yep. It says, name them.
Higher self and lower self.
Okay. What people represent the higher self?
The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca.
Okay. What people represent the lower self?
Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching.
Okay. So these people that accept the teaching of something that's wrong were kicked out of the holy city. So that's what we just were dealing with. People wrong and they say, I know I'm wrong, but I'm just going to be wrong and I'm okay with being wrong. Okay, well, we don't want to follow them. They were kicked out. So what is the higher self?
The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Okay, there's your mercy and your love and right.
Okay, so mercy and love. We just talked about in the Quran, it said that the world was created for mercy and love. All right. So the world was actually created out here for people in their higher self to deal with mercy and love. So I want to read that to you one more time. It says, what is the higher self? It says the higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life. So the harmonies of life, everything, love and everything is in concert with one another. This brings this and this is great. And everything is calm and everything is in its proper pace. It says, and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Right? 71. Can the higher self pass away?
No.
No. Why?
Because it's a lie in man.
Because it's a lie in man. All right, that's an important key. So I said Allah was the supreme being. So that seed that was put in you was Allah and man. So that's a secret that nobody tells you. All right? Man and Allah are one. Because Allah is in man. But we have to operate in that manner. so we don't bring other negative things up. What does the lower self breed?
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms.
So the lower self is everything that harms. It's a pretty simple category. Does this harm? Yeah. Okay, don't bother with it. Pretty simple. It should be simple. Sometimes it's a little more complex, or we make it complex, because in our mind, we can make a judgment between the seriousness of something. Well, he did this, but he didn't kill nobody all the way. It was close. Well, he had to do it. Oh, no, that's swaying it to the way you want it to go. It's anything that harms. It's bad. All right? So that's going to cause harm to their character, their livelihood, feeding their family, to their children, to the dog, to the car. Anything that harms is bad. All right? So we got to keep it at that second, first, third grade level where it's at. That is bad. Don't do it. If it's good, that's where we're supposed to stay at. 74. What did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him?
Where are you going, Satan?
Okay, where are you going, Satan? So that's the conversation they're having with each other. All right.
I remember when we were talking about, and the brother said, there's the angel and the devil on your shoulder. Those two selves right there, that conversation, that going back and forth. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? You should do this. No, you shouldn't do this. And you're having that conversation. So you have that higher self conversation and the lower self conversation. And then, depending on where we are with this and this, we might choose to do the incorrect thing. Because Allah gave us free will.
Back in the Quran at 17, it says, his creatures of his hand declare his goodness, and their enjoyments speak of his praise. He clotheth them with beauty. He supporteth them with food. He preserveth them with pleasure from generation to generation. If we lift up our eyes to the heavens, his glory shineth forth. If we cast them down on the earth, it is full of his goodness. The hills and the valleys rejoice and sing. Fields, rivers, and woods resound his praise. So as you see, all the things in earth are in concert. So the grass is green, the trees are growing. They're not really, because we keep cutting them all out. The birds are singing. All right? All those things are in concert one with another. Go to key 97. Got about 5 minutes, and then we're going to get you to a point. Key 97 in the 101 says, who is the Elohim?
Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and ever more to be.
If we lift our eyes up to the heavens, his glory shineth forth. If we cast them down on the earth, it is full of his goodness. Did you catch that? Okay? Those are the creative spirits. Cast them down at the earth. It says, what is the Elohim sometimes called?
The 7 eyes of Allah.
The 7 eyes of Allah. Okay, so those are the creative spirits. So those eyes. How many days are in a circle?
7 days.
7 days. How many days are in creation?
7 days.
According to science, how many days are in the year?
7 days.
7 days. So somehow we came up with 365 days. There's 360 degrees in a circle. I'm still lost on that. Okay?
Does anybody have questions about that 7 days? Because at first I was like, but wait. And then suddenly there was clarity and it made sense. So does anybody?
Make it plain. Make it plain.
Okay, so say for example, you looked at a calendar. How many days in a week are there? There's 7 days. So there's always only 7 days. There is never a double Tuesday or anything like that. There's only 7 days.
Name those 7 days.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So there's those days. Now, give me 365 of those. You can't.
There's
only
not.
7.
There's only 7.
The math doesn't add.
Right. So
They can't even get you.
those are your days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Friday was a holy day for all Muslims over the world, because on Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on the Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. All right? That's why we have to be scientists and understand what we're talking about. Okay? Because if we're not, we're teaching you incorrectly. Islam.
The first man be Adam.
So the first man was formed in flesh. We're not gonna go into that in this class. We said the first man was formed in flesh, the first man departed out of flesh. Okay, so now we remember that the body laid for ages. All right, and then life was breathed into him. That's as far as we'll go with that in this class.
So essentially, unless you change the algorithm with that, the year doesn't really exist unless we have something else that would equal that.
I didn't say it, you said it.
Yes.
The circle has 7 days. You got 365 days. All
You
right?
might repeat those 7 days.
Right.
But there's only 7 days.
There's only 7 days.
The year doesn't exist.
The year is not there for that purpose.
Islam.
Now remember,
Mathematician didn't do it.
so in
The wrong one did.
in a circle, it just goes like this. So where's the beginning and the end of the circle? There is
There's no beginning and there's no
There is no beginning, there is no end. So when's your life going to end? Doesn't end. So it
because
wasn't.
that seed is there.
The seed is there.
And that seed has no beginning, it has no end.
So
And name one seed that's not a circle or a sphere.
So, but thee he hath distinguished with peculiar favor and exalted thy station above all creatures. So he's the supreme God, and he appointed you to a supreme station above all beings. That's what he just said right here. All right? So your station is above all other beings. We have to act in that manner. He hath endued thee with reason to maintain thy dominion with reason. So you supposed to have, should have, I hope we have, proper thought, reasonings to keep you where you're supposed to be. If your dog at home outslick you, your reasoning may not be in line.
A little bit flawed. A little bit flawed.
He hath fitted thee with language to improve thy society and exalted thy mind with the powers of meditation. Oh, he just gave you the key. Exalted thy mind with the powers of meditation. Exalted. So exalted needs to raise it up. All right? To contemplate and to adore his inimitable perfections. How do we give worship? Somebody help me out. So I know you're not asleep. How do we give honor and praise to the Most High?
Honor.
Focus in our thoughts.
Focus in our thoughts. Islam. I sleep over there. Focus your thoughts in meditation. He says, and exalted thy mind with the powers of meditation to contemplate and adore his inimitable perfections. All right? So when you go out into the world, you're supposed to walk out there, you should always feel childlike. Whoa, look at that. Look at that tree. That amazes me that thing goes 9 stories up. I still think about stuff like that when I go out. You should too. I wish I was a child and I could climb that.
Don't climb it.
No, don't do it. She said, don't do it. She said that reasoning was bad. She said she didn't think about the going up. See, her thought crossed with the going down. All right? So she said my reasoning was flawed. Okay, so sometimes we gotta talk it out.
Yeah, that's not
She said,
all the way up.
That's it. Woo! She said, okay, on your back.
Yeah, mess around, be all the
We
way
got a
up.
couple more. Okay. Oh, praise his goodness with songs of thanksgiving. We already went through that.
What form of anger?
Oh, think not, bold men, because thy punishment is delayed, that the arm of Allah is weakened. Neither flatter thyself with hopes that he winketh at thy doings. If you do something corrupt and you don't think you didn't get caught that time, well, I got away with it. Then man may let you get away with it.
The world's dumbest criminals.
Right. But Allah maybe didn't let you get away with it. His eye perceiveth the secrets of every heart, and he remembereth them forever. He respecteth not the persons or the stations of men. the high and the low, the rich and the poor. So on earth, he's saying the stations, you may have attained all this wealth and this, and God looks on you with favor and all these things. But he's saying that that's not really so. Okay? The high and the low, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ignorant. When the soul hath shaken off the cumbrous shackles of this mortal life, shall equally receive from the sentence of just and everlasting retribution according to their works. Okay? So that's what your parents and your mother and father said. Make sure your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds when you check out. All right? So we did that to you in that manner. Make sure your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. We know we got bad deeds. We were in the darkness. You weren't responsible for those deeds in the darkness. It's when you came into the light that you knew you was supposed to be doing something. All right? So when you was in the darkness, some of that's clean and you're okay. When you came into the ever-loving light, you were supposed to let that stuff go.
Islam.
Islam.
What they say, I hope that feather is lighter than that heart.
Mm-hmm. Then shall the wicked tremble and be afraid, but the heart of the righteous shall rejoice in his judgments. So when I hear that, it says, then shall the wicked tremble and be afraid, but the heart of thy righteous shall rejoice in his judgment. If you ever been with somebody that's been about to change form and pass, life is different for people that know they're all right and people that have a question, are they all right? When you sit with somebody, they say, man, I'm about to check out. Woo, I'm ready. What? I'm cool. I'm out. I'm gone.
I'm done.
All right. But somebody that doesn't know and their heart's not right, they say, oh, I hope I did enough on this. I maybe. You ever been with somebody that's about to go and change form? So it's hard on your heart. All right. So it said the belief alone could save them. So in Islam, we deal with the belief. We said we had the belief in Allah, belief in the angels, the prophets, the holy books, right? In the day of judgment. All right. So judge ye not lest ye be judged. You better make sure that you know you are right. If you're not right, work on it. That's a relationship that needs patched up. Patch that relationship up with yourself. That's what unity is. Unify yourself. Meditate, pray, hope, mercy. So the world was created for mercy and love. Go out and give mercy and love. The world is in need of it. Everybody needs a hug. Everybody's in a downtrodden state. Because their minds aren't right. They have no reasoning. They don't know where to look. They don't know where the next meal gonna come from. They don't have $1 in their pocket. Some of that stuff we don't need. All right, but we need that love. Give it to them. If you got enough, hey, here, go here, help them out. Don't call somebody to sin. They need $1 or $2. Think about that. And we're at the last. O fear Allah, therefore, all the days of thy life, and walk in the path which he hath opened before thee. Let prudence admonish thee. Let temperance restrain. Okay? So your mind should be tempered. Restrain you from those things that you shouldn't be doing. Let justice guide thy hand. Benevolence warm thy heart. And gratitude to the heaven inspire thee with devotion. These shall give thee happiness in thy present state and bring to the mansions of eternal felicity. The mansions. So we talk about the mansions. So if you've been in the Bible, say in my Father's house, there are many mansions. All right? So we're dealing with the chakras. So when you do meditation, you line the chakras up. We won't go into that. That's too long. All right? But that's what we're talking about. We're trying to get those heavenly houses in order. That's the 7 chakras, or the 7 wonders of the world.
There's that on your guard jacket there.
Mm-hmm. This is the true economy of the human life. So economy, so that deals with money. The true economy, he said, was the love and the mercy. And that we feel and praise for Allah, and that Allah shines on us, that we are supposed to shine on each other. All right? Islam. So I hope we go out in the community, be that shining light that you can only be. They said you could only give the light if you had the light and you were the light. So you're the light. You're the light bearers. Give them light. It's dark out there. Okay? The world is cold. Supply them heat. Islam.
I just want to be a mirror a minute, because ever since you said the light, you know, I've been hearing it. So just to unpack that word, coming into the light, coming into the knowledge of the truth. The moment you get the epiphany, the revelation that the direction you go in is wrong, you turn, you repent. That's what that whole thing. You turn then. So when you come into the knowledge of the truth, or when you come into the light bulb moment, the epiphany that direction is wrong, that's when you change. Because anything beyond that is sin.
Exactly. That's 100% correct. That's 100% correct. To say, hath he endowed thee with the knowledge and the understanding of the truth? So you don't have to have it. You have to know that that's not right. That's different. You have to know that that's not right. Then you on your way. If you know that that's not right, you're in better shape than the person that just plain is in a coma and don't care. Okay? I seen some childhood friends. I stopped by their house. They were sitting on the porch where I left them 20 years ago, still drinking beer. Y'all doing something different? No, we just trying to get on that spirit. We just hanging out. I was doing that 20 years ago. Okay. And you got to go about your business because they haven't changed. Nothing has made them change their path. Islam? Islam. Let's close it down. So we rise, we face you. Nah, I don't do prayers and close out. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Stay up, one more prayer. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed, and principles. This we ask in our holy name and the seven Elohim. Amen. Islam, Morse.
Islam. Hi.
I hope you guys got something from that, so you can carry into the world and do something.
I do. I have.
Want to know what one of them is? To go home and see if I got any more purpose, and then go to sleep.